Welcome to Wise Wave, where we dive into the rich tapestry of history. In this video, we'll unravel the fascinating story of the U.S. election system, tracing its evolution from the birth of the nation. The history of U.S. elections is a complex and evolving narrative that began with the establishment of the nation. Here is a brief overview of the key milestones in the development of U.S. elections. 1. Colonial and early state elections, 1600s–1700s. Before the United States gained independence, colonial and early state elections were held to choose representatives for colonial assemblies and other local offices. These elections often followed British and colonial traditions, with limited suffrage and property qualifications. 2. Continental Congress elections, 1774–1781. Leading up to the American Revolution, elections were held for the Continental Congress to address grievances and coordinate resistance against British rule. The First Continental Congress convened in 1774, followed by the Second Continental Congress in 1775. 3. State ratification conventions, 1787–1788. States held ratification conventions to decide whether to adopt the newly drafted U.S. Constitution. The ratification process involved debates and votes, and the Constitution needed approval from 9 states to take effect. 4. First presidential election, 1788–1789. The first U.S. presidential election was held in 1788–1789 to elect the nation's first president and vice president. George Washington was unanimously elected as the first president of the United States, serving from 1789 to 1797. 5. Expansion of suffrage, early 19th century. Over the early decades of the 19th century, there was a gradual expansion of suffrage, as property qualifications were eliminated in many states. The concept of universal white male suffrage emerged, allowing a broader segment of the population to participate in elections. 6. Rise of political parties. Late 18th century, political parties, such as the Federalists and Democratic Republicans, played a significant role in shaping the electoral landscape. The development of party conventions and nomination processes became integral to the election process. 7. Expansion of voting rights. 19th–20th century, the 15th Amendment, 1870, prohibited the denial of voting rights based on race. The 19th Amendment, 1920, granted women the right to vote. The 26th Amendment, 1971, lowered the voting age to 18. 8. Civil Rights Era, 1950s–1960s, the Civil Rights Act, 1964, and the Voting Rights Act, 1965, aimed to eliminate racial discrimination in voting. These legislative milestones marked significant progress in ensuring equal access to the voting booth. 9. Modern Era and Electoral Reforms, 20th century. Present, the development of primary elections and caucuses to select party candidates gained prominence. The introduction of televised debates and the use of modern campaign strategies transformed the electoral landscape. 10. Presidential elections every 4 years. Since the early years of the Republic, presidential elections have been held every 4 years. The first Tuesday in November is designated as Election Day, with the president inaugurated on January 20th of the following year. The U.S. election system has continually evolved, reflecting the changing demographics, societal values, and political dynamics of the nation. Various amendments and legislative acts have shaped the electorate and expanded the principles of democracy in the United States.